So you're thinking about starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Awesome. There's some things you should know going into it. Let's talk about it. You are on the cusp of taking your first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Maybe you're researching the school that you're looking to attend, or maybe you've decided on the school and you're going to take your first class tonight or in a few days or in a few weeks. Like, you have it planned out, you're ready to go, and you're thinking about what it is that you should expect and what you should be prepared for. Here are the top 3 categories I think you need to have in mind as you go into your first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. All right, number 1 on the list. You are in for a rough reality check. Let's double tap on that. The reality check is going to come in the form of basically 4 different categories. Exercise. You might think you're already in good shape. Maybe you're a runner. Maybe you're a lifter. Maybe you do CrossFit or something like that, and you're in pretty good shape, or you look like you're in pretty good shape. The physical exertion you feel when you engage in one-on-one combat with another human being in grappling is not like anything you've experienced before. Trust me, I've done all those things before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I can tell you, especially in your first week where you don't know how to where and when to exert yourself, you're just tense all the way through. You're going to experience a level of exhaustion. You're going to be gassed like you've never been gassed before. So that's number 1. Number 2, reality check. There's going to be some incredibly awkward movements and positions that you're going to be in. Just in the warm-ups. In the warm-ups, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of things for the first time that you've just seen 5 or 6 people do right ahead of you, and you have to try to copy that. It's going to feel very awkward, and it's going to be very uncomfortable because you're going to be doing it in front of a line of 15 to 30, 40 other people who are watching you do it. And you'll experience some stage fright as you're going through that. Try to put that out of your mind. That's not a big deal. Trust me, I'm going to come to this a little bit later in the conversation. Nobody there cares. 2, when you actually, or I'm sorry, rather 3, when you actually get into actual sparring, your first sparring matches, for quite some time, to be completely honest with you, you're going to feel helpless. You're going to feel helpless rolling with people. That's what we call sparring in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We call it rolling. You're going to feel a sense of helplessness like you've never felt before. And that alone can break a lot of people. Because that's the game of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A lot of the game of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to make you feel helpless, is to make you panic and make a mistake, and then that's when the opponent sends submissions at you, when you feel that helplessness and you make a mistake. That's normal. As you're going through those experiences, as you're getting submitted, as you're getting tapped out, just understand that that's what everybody goes through, and it's through those experiences that you actually learn quite a bit in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And then still in the category of a rough reality check is what this is going to do to your ego. Now, you might be walking into this saying, "Oh, I have no ego. This is not going to be tough for me." Well, I'll tell you, the first time I got choked out by a woman who was smaller than me, who weighed 50 pounds lighter than me, that was a tough reality check. And that could be in store for you. And it shouldn't bother you. It doesn't bother me now. But back when I first started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I had some notions in my mind that being bigger, stronger than women meant that I had some kind of advantage. Well, that's not the case in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm not just talking about women. I mean, you'll roll with men and women, guys that are much smaller than you, that are much lighter than you, that are going to have their way with you. And that's going to be tough for you to handle, but that's going to be really, really good for you. So that's number 1, the tough reality check. It's going to be your exercise, the awkwardness of positions and motions that you're going to put your body into, the feeling of helplessness, and the major ego check that you're going to go through in taking up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Number two, the second thing that you should know when you take up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, everybody wants you to succeed. Everyone in there. You walk in and everybody sees that there's a new guy here or a new girl here putting on the belt for the first time. And believe me, you stand out, because your belt's going to be tied weird and your gi is going to fit you kind of weird, as you might have a loaner gi or you just don't know how to use it or how to wear it. You're going to stand out. But I guarantee you that everybody there in the school is rooting for you, because everybody there in the school was once you and knows exactly how difficult these first few days of trying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu actually is. So despite all of that uncomfortableness, despite the lost feeling that you're going to have in there as you're hearing all these new terms and watching people do things and not knowing where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be doing, totally natural. You will pick it up. Everybody has gone through it, and everybody is mentally rooting you on and hoping to see you succeed. Also, no one is going to go full speed with you in your first couple of weeks. And to be honest with you, this will make sense to you later on in your jiu-jitsu experience. As long as you're a white belt, most of the higher level players at your school are probably not going to go very hard on you. And the reason why is that they don't want to take money out of the coach's pocket. So what I mean by that is, if you come in and I'm a brown belt and I thrash you, and while you're on your free trial, it's very likely you're going to say, I don't want to do this. This is terrible. I got destroyed. I'm hurt. My arm's tweaked, my legs tweaked, my neck's tweaked. I don't want to come back here. I don't want to be responsible for taking money out of my coach's pocket, keeping him or her from being able to provide for their families while they're taking their time out of their lives to run the school for us. So trust that no one, that's not true. Most 98% of people in there are not going to go 100% on you. You have some other white belts, some other new people in there who are still kind of trying to figure out the speed and the pacing of what they're supposed to be doing. And so if you roll with those other white belts who don't know that, you might see some wild stuff. So I'm going to get to advice at the end of this video. Stick around so that I can tell you how to deal with that. All right, number 3. This is going to sound so weird, because the first was that you're going to have a rough reality check. Number 2 is that you should know that everyone is rooting for you to succeed. And then number 3 that you should prepare for, that you should know coming into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is that you're going to get mat burns all over your feet and some in your hands. But they're going to be all over your feet for the first couple of weeks of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'd say usually 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to be all over you. They're going to kill you after Jiu-Jitsu. When you're in the shower, when you're wearing socks throughout the day, going to work, walking around, things like that, they're gonna drive you crazy. Don't panic. Your skin's gonna grow back. It's gonna get tougher. They're gonna stop happening. But man, for the first 3 weeks to a month, maybe even 6 weeks at the longest, you're gonna have some pretty gnarly mat burns that are gonna be very distracting. And you're gonna be asking people, what can I do? Don't go out and buy Band-Aids. Don't go out and buy, fake skin to put on it. Get some Neosporin, rub it on there at night before you go to bed. That's about the best that you can do. And then I promise, after a couple of weeks, it's going to go away. Your skin's going to toughen up, and it'll be a funny memory. All right, so let's wrap up this video with some basic advice that I want to give you as you're going into your first class of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I recommend you wear a mouthpiece. And you're like, which mouthpiece should I get? I'm not going to try to give you recommendations. I don't have sponsorships that I'm going to try to push on you or anything like that. But I promise you, something is better than nothing. For me, I had Invisalign like 10 years ago. I use my Invisalign retainer, which is just enough, because if I bite down on my tongue, it's just enough dulling so that that's not too terrible. And it prevents me from biting my cheeks and stuff like that. And there will be times where you're transitioning in movements and maybe somebody's knee catches you, and you bite down very aggressively, and you don't want your just jagged teeth to come down on your lips or your tongue or the inside of your cheek. So I recommend a mouthpiece. Do a Google search, best mouthpieces for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you should find some good stuff. I'm going to talk to you about something a little bit taboo. I'll be honest with you. I've searched and watched a lot of videos, and I've never seen this one mentioned on any videos that are out there. And I watch a lot of YouTube, so I'm surprised I haven't seen this yet. But there's discussion about hygiene when you go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is just good housekeeping. This is being a good teammate. Be clean, and if you don't already, pick up some wet wipes. If you can't take a shower before you go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, pick up some wet wipes, go to the bathroom, give yourself a good cleanup before you go in there. You don't want, anything that's lingering around on your body, especially for guys. You're going to be sweating a lot. You don't want things moving around. You don't want to get people, into weird positions and have weird smells and things like that. You don't want to be that person. As awkward as that is for me to say and probably cringy for you to hear, it's true. You need to hear it. And then last piece of advice that I'll give you is practice tying your belt. After your first class, if you don't have a gi and a belt going in, you're waiting for your instructor to give you the gi and the belt. After your first night, watch some videos, learn how to tie your belt. You'll thank me, because between rounds or between technique training and things like that, you're going to have to put your belt back together. You will lose a lot of time if you're standing, fumbling around, trying to figure out how to tie your belt and asking other people to help. They're going to help you. Everybody's there to help, be very supportive of you. But 30 minutes on your own after class, watching some videos, tying it, undoing it, tying it again, 30 minutes, I promise you, is going to make a huge difference for you, save you a bunch of time, and get your picture ready so that when your teammates are want to take pictures, somebody's got a new stripe or somebody got a new belt or something like that, you're not in the picture looking like a mess. You look put together. So that's it. Those are the 3 things you should know going into your first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Be ready. You're in for a rough reality check when it comes to your physical fitness and just your physical being altogether. Know that everybody there, truly everybody there, is rooting for you. They might not be, patting you on the back and saying, great job, keep it going. But in those weird moments where you're uncomfortable and you feel like you have stage fright, nobody's paying attention, and the people that are paying attention are rooting for you. And then third, the mat burns are going to be rough, but they are going to go away. And the 3 pieces of advice: wear a mouthpiece, work on your hygiene, make sure that you have that under control. You don't want to embarrass yourself, and you don't want to be a bad teammate. And practice tying your belt. It'll save you some time. Thanks. Good luck. I hope you love it as much as I do.